DreamHack Open is brought to you by Astro, Monster Energy, Corsair, Hacks, and GGBet.
Sweden is one of the few countries in the world that gives every person the freedom to roam in nature. You might be thinking, well, what in the world does that mean, Trace? This means that you don't have to pay to set up a tent or get permission to cross private land. The only exceptions are private gardens, near a dwelling house, or land under cultivation. And I guess what else is going on here is that we roamed for 60 total rounds to get us here to this point with these two winners. Bravado and G2 are going to be squaring off in the last match of the day, a winner's match at that, and a best of one that will determine who has the day off tomorrow and who's going on to the semis directly on Sunday. Welcome back to DreamHack Open here in Jönköping. It's DreamHack winter, everybody, and it's almost December, so that means Santa Claus got to be around here somewhere. But for now, at least we have two elves here by my side in Pimp and Blay. Guys, welcome back.
All right, Trace.
Hi, Daddy.
Hey, it's cool, man.
It's fine. All right.
So it's been one of those days, and we've kind of gotten to this point where we've got one would say is a landslide match in front of us. It could be very much one-sided when you think about, yes, we have Bravado who did prevail earlier, 16-14. But then again, G2 did the same thing, 16-14 as well.
Yeah, but bear in mind, right? Like we were expecting this to be an Optic versus ENCE matchup. That's what everyone expected it to be. We did as well, but here we go. It's a complete turnaround here. It's going to be Bravado versus G2. And to be honest, looking at some of the results we've seen today, I don't think it's going to be as predictable as one might assume here. I really think it's going to be, you know, I don't know, it's going to be very back and forth, I feel, here.
I think it's going to be a close matchup too. I don't think G2 is currently at a level where you can count on them to consistently win against teams they should be winning against. There's no doubt that they're the favorites coming into this one. There's no doubt that the performance we did get to see against ENCE was pretty promising for a team like G2, especially considering they now brought in two new guys to the team. That said, though, I think Bravado showed some great potential as well going up against Optic in the first game. So both of these teams are here to play, and I wouldn't expect nothing else in a matchup like this, where both teams, you know, let's not forget the fact that loser of this one has to win two best of threes, and one of them has to be against Optic and ENCE.
Yeah, and both of those were, well, I guess, kind of looking scary in their own right. Maybe one more than the other. But one thing that we should look into now is 3 reasons why with Blay. Of course, brought to you by HacksGG, the official apparel sponsor of DreamHack. Blay, do it to them.
2 reasons why this is going to be an interesting matchup would be, number one, Bravado have shown that they do have the firepower, right? This is one question which we had earlier on, whether, like, can these guys hold their own against the likes of a KGB, the likes against the Optic guys, and they did manage to do that. And now, yes, they are going to be facing off against the likes of a Kenny, who's looking on fire, Shocks, Body, and all these, the couple of new guys who just joined G2. But we saw, I think it was Fady, who was looking really solid. We had Sonic, the hard carry of the team. You had JT, Elusive as well. Everyone is showing that they can, you know, frag as some of the best in this tournament. So that's one thing which is making things interesting. Number 2 would be the fact that vintage KNS. Now, I might be just jumping the gun here, but KNS was looking really, really hot, right? He was looking really sharp. He was 29 frags, not shabby at all. And if he continues his form, it could be quite a problem indeed for Bravado. And reason number 3 will obviously be that both are still kind of unknown quantities. Now, if you look at Bravado, they have come into this as massive underdogs, but they did kind of throw the curveball with that win they had over Optic. So anything's possible. We don't really know their map pool as well. And then we, of course, have G2. We were just talking to KNS earlier on the desk as well, and he was like, you know what, we have some new tricks up our sleeve. We have our map pools kind of brand new as well. So we don't really know really that much about these two teams and what they might bring to the table in this particular matchup. So all things considered, it's going to be one interesting banger of a game, Trace. Banger of a game.
Banger. Getting them done. Get her done, they might even say. And in fact, I think we might get her done right now to continue on with that map pool conversation as the vetoes start to fly in our direction. Guys, it's a best of one again. Where does that leave us?
It's a good question, because I definitely agree with what Blur said. I don't think we know the quantities of neither of these teams' map pool right now. You said it yourself, you know, when you saw the video against Optic from Bravado's side, you were surprised that they'd left out Nuke, or they banned Nuke, and I don't expect them to ban Nuke against G2, which means that that map could potentially be one of the maps that G2 have been working on and wants to play. So we could potentially see a Nuke right here for both teams.
Yeah.
Again, that said, you know, it could go south and it could go east. We don't really know.
Could be even Inferno as well. I was just looking through the maps that these guys usually play or ban out, right? And if you're considering the old G2, I might actually see an Inferno. It could be Nuke, like you said, or it could just be Dust2. Both of them won their games on Dust2, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it could be Dust2 as well. So Cash ban coming in from Bravado. That's a map that standard ban. So I don't think either of these two teams really like playing on these. It could definitely be either Nuke or Inferno here.
Dust2 going out of the way from G2. Not a map they want to go up against Bravado on, and we have Nuke left in the pool, and it is going to be Nuke. Once again, I think this is a cool trend that we're getting to see within Counter-Strike right now. We had a time, and we had a period of time when nobody wanted to play Nuke, and especially not in the best of ones. But as of lately, Nuke has been one of the most popular maps to come out of the Vitos in a best of one series, which either means that people have, you know, taught themselves to play the map, or people have actually started to like the map and quit the whining about Nuke being a bad map and Nuke being blah, 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 blah. It's been absolutely miserable to listen to, because Nuke is, in fact, you know, a decent map, and it always delivers for great games when both teams are playing well.
I think the only people who hate Nuke would be the observers. I really can't blame them for that.
Or the people playing Astralis.
Probably
or
everyone
playing Astralis as well.
Everyone on Twitter had that go on how bad the new Nuke was and how bad of a map it is and blah, blah, blah. It's just, you know, one of those things where if you actually sat down and practice the map, you'll start to realize that the map is only as bad as you make it.
Look at the best team in the world.
The map is only as bad as you make it. And with that, of course, we're going to go and take a look at our first team that we have centered on the stage right about now. It's going to be something along the lines of, I guess we could look at it this way, Blair. It's a tree, long thought to have originated in South Central Mexico, classified as a member of the flowering plant family of Lyraceae. It's the fruit of the plant, also called a what?
An avocado.
Oh my goodness, and if you spam it in chat, you will be putting some bets in here.
Absolutely horrible trade.
Some good karma in the way of Bravado. You know, I tried the crowbar, it didn't really stick, but either way, yes, Bravado have fought their way here. They have found their way to a winner's match. They've already made themselves a case to be here for what it's worth, and what we talked to them about earlier is their exposure and their commitment to the game, to the team itself, by just transplanting and moving themselves over to North America has helped them tremendously.
Yeah, there was this interview that came out, I think, this morning itself, where, not an interview, more like an article on HLTV where they're talking about Bravado, and they were like, anything that happened before they moved to NA, they can just forget about it. It's literally a fresh start for these guys. And here's the thing, it's a story of two teams. One team has nothing to lose. Bravado have nothing to lose here. They should be just going in, you know, just all in. And the G2, they have a lot to prove. Like we said about them earlier, they did all the org, the money, blah, blah, blah. They need to show something here. So it's a team who has nothing to lose, on a team who has, I won't say everything to lose, but a lot to prove. So I think Bravado would be feeling very comfortable here, right? And by the way, Nuke is a map that they usually go as a first pick whenever they play against any of the NA teams. Now, that all things considered, it's going to be against G2. It's not going to be a completely different thing altogether against a team of that caliber, but it's a map they're very comfortable on. It's a map that they usually win most of their games on. So I think Bravado, I mean, all things considered, I think they're going to be looking pretty happy with the way this is actually played out for them.
I think you're right, man. Speaking of G2 and speaking of history, Nuke is one of the maps that they actually used to be pretty decent on, despite them having this horrible year and despite them having a time of period where nothing really worked for them. Nuke was the outlier that teams wouldn't really allow them to play because they knew that there would still be a threat on Nuke. So Bravado, you know, must feel confidence in the Nuke pick, otherwise they wouldn't have picked it up against G2.
Well, G2 is our next team on the stage. They do have some fresh faces there in Lucky and Jax, and definitely trying to make a case for themselves. You wouldn't think that you would see Kenny S and Shock sitting in a rank of 28th across the entire planet, but that is where they find themselves, building back up, sort of like the entirety of the French scene, it seems. This French scene, it seems. My goodness.
Yeah, I just find it funny to see that. Actually, glad you mentioned it out. They're currently ranked 28th in the world. Obviously, that is deflecting from the fact they brought in two new players who is not bringing in any points to the ranking system.
Yeah.
But try have this thought of line right. You have the team that is probably getting paid the top 5 most in the entire world. You know, not even being a top 10 team, not even being close to being a top 20 team in the world right now. That's just not good enough. I mean, we were very rough on Shox and Kenny S for not delivering, and I think that's fair enough to be. I mean, when you have the skill, when you have the assets they have, and when you have the know how to play Counter-Strike at such a high level. You can expect from them to show up a little bit more. You can expect from them to be the leaders of this team and actually lead these new guys into glory. And that's like, I expect nothing less from them. If this team cannot become a top 10 team within the next 4 or 5 months, I would consider this whole project from G2 failed big time, if not already. So there's a lot on pressure, as you said, a lot pressure on this man's shoulder right now. He is now again the in-game leader for G2, and he's tried that before, you know, back and forth in that role, and we haven't really seen it be consistent delivering.
But what about all the anger? They've got some anger. They've got a fire lit under their ass.
I think Kenny said he was hungry, Trace.
You know, he said he was angry.
He said he was angry. He came
to me, it sounded like hungry.
Even if it's hangry, you just take the baguette and just go on in deep.
Or you just grab a Snickers bar and eat that instead, because that cures all problems.
I don't know, man.
I could do one right now.
To eat a baguette or a Snickers bar?
Both.
Okay. At the same time, perhaps put them all in there, call them a pastry. And that's what we're going to do here as we try to serve up G2. Gamers 2 definitely looking to make a mark here and make their path to the finals easier. But first, we have a head-to-head here between Kenny S and Sonic. And why is that, fellas?
I picked these two guys for a simple reason altogether. Kenny S, we saw glimpses of what he can do in the previous game. Right now, if he goes off, it could get a little rough. As long as Body and Shocks, they do the job, Jackie and Lucky, they just have to do what they have to do. And if Kenny S goes off, it's going to be very rough indeed from Bravado. And why I brought up Sonic is because while we have Kenny S and we have Shocks and these superstar players on the G2 side, for Bravado, it's basically one guy. It's Sonic. Yes, he was comparatively a little quiet in Game 1, but he did show what he could do later on. The guy can op, the guy can rifle, the guy is the highest rated player on that side. So it's going to come down to these two guys, I feel, to decide which team's going to come out on top.
Or we get the Twitch viewers at home to decide the whole simulation now.
Let them do our job.
Exclamation point BVD. That's right. You got to put an exclamation point in front of it in chat, not just spell out BVD. Or exclamation point G2. And that is how you control the simulation. That is how you decide who wins these games.
I like how you're approaching the chat as were they small kids who doesn't understand anything. Like they need to put the exclamation mark in front of BW or BVD or whatever it is, Trace.
I'm a little disappointed that it's BVD, not BRA.
I mean, as human beings just like you and me, we could be the guys in the chat.
Yeah, I mean, you said they were horrible people earlier. And in fact,
I take that back. Nope, no, I didn't say that.
Yep.
Nope.
A little late to backtrack. And in fact, we're not going to backtrack. We're going to carry straight on right into predictions. And we're going to start with you, Mr. Vinicky.
Yes, I like the fact that you picked Kenny S and Sonic, and I want to see Kenny S be that versatile MVP player I know he can be. I want to see him roam around. I want to see him dictate the pace, especially on the CT side. I want to see him do what basically Merge did for Heroic, you know. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to end up on 30 frags, but I just want to see him be a constant threat towards ramp, towards inside, towards outside, so they can have no safe place on this Nuke map. I think G2 are the better team. I think G2, actually, I don't think G2 are the better team. I think they have the better individuals, but I think Bravado is the better team. It's going to be a close one. G2 should be able to win this one simply just because of the fact that they have Shocks, they have Kenny S, they have Body, they have these individual star powers, whereas Bravado, they're still very, very green in a matchup that is, you know, potentially the most important of their lives. If they win this one, it's straight into a semi-final at a decent-sized event, something they have never tried or even been close to before. So a lot of pressure on the Bravado guys as well. So I picked G2.
There we go. Thank you.
And he picks G2. I agree with him on a lot of these points. The thing with Bravado is I've seen them play Nuke, and they have some very good results in NA, right? But you are as good as your opposition, and the other teams they've played against, none of them are on the caliber of a G2. You know, like we said, we have Shocks, we have Kenny S. So pretty much going to just mirror what Pim just said. I'm going to be going with G2 as well, but I do believe it's going to be a much closer affair because Bravado know how to play that map. They have the fundamentals down. They have some pretty good executes as well and whatnot. But overall, I think G2 should have the edge here.
Is this the moment you're going to say Bravado?
You're going to say it, aren't you?
Does it rhyme with avocado? No. Look, in all reality, this one has to go, I think, in the way of G2, just because the pedigree and experience of these players, they should be able to put together something here. And dare I say that Bravado might just be getting outmatched at this level right now. They are already exceeding their own expectations. So perhaps this is where they start to hit the wall. We don't know. Only time will tell. Detrony does know, and he's down there on the stage right now, getting locked in with his players and getting us ready to get into this matchup. But we can't go into the matchup without some commentators, and those commentators are ready to take it away. Scrawny and Launders, get us into this last matchup of the day, fellas.
Hell yeah, let's do it. Bravado and G2, Launders. I would have never expected Bravado to actually find themselves here in the winner's game. I thought maybe we'd see them in a BO3 tomorrow for that decider spot, but this This is incredible. So props to them again. That 16-14 victory on Dust 2 versus Optic is what's gotten them to this position, and now they face G2 on Nuke. Now listen, all right, we don't have fancy graphics here on the caster's desk. We don't get the prediction game that the desk is spoiled with.
Right.
But would you join me in predicting Bravado's victory here?
I would
You
actually.
would.
I think
So-
the veto goes with them.
Yeah.
And I think that because G2 maybe don't really want to play Nuke just yet. We don't know if that's in their map pool. I'm sure Kenny S would have kept that a secret, and it's potentially that they are comfortable. I think the communication is going to be very trying for them on CT side.
Yes.
I actually see a world where Bravado could win.
That's where I'm seeing this is because Bravado, again, like Blair was talking about, regionally in North America where Bravado have popped up as of late, 2 seasons of Mountain Dew League, winning both, falling short in playoffs, of course. That's kind of like the big asterisk next to their recent success. Not only do they qualify for Winter, not only do they pick up that win, but that one loss versus a team called Can't Win a LAN was a bit shocking, right? It's jarring for them to get to the playoffs, but a very good article that Blair referenced earlier today, written by Lucas of HLTV, they talk about it, Bravado. It's because they went into that match with a do-or-die type mentality. They realized how much was on the line with the rank-ups and whatnot. This is a pressure-free situation. You're playing a new lineup on a very, very complicated map. If ever you wanted to face G2 on Nuke, it's now, in their first LAN showing as well. So let's get into it, folks. Enough jibber-jabbering. Let's get into the headshots, the action, and grenades, because it's G2 to the CT side, and it's already Bravado wrapping around outdoors. They've picked up the opening kill. There's a heavy stack up from G2, and it's gotten pinched. 3 entries for Bravado means a 4 versus 2 and an open route to the B site.
That was actually really well timed. Oh my God, JT's already down there in the vents to welcome Lucky. And it's with a clean headshot at that. So now Shots moves in for the retake, but Detrony has a perfect angle to take him out. And they crush lower. That was an amazing lower crush. The way that they dealt with Turnpike and Hell at the same time was awesome. They kept the speed up. The explosiveness was there. And they don't have X-ray like we do. Even for watching their own teammates, they've got to try to decide how to appropriately space that split, and they chose the right timing. So I really like to see that. Now we've gotten anti-eco for them. They've actually picked up 5 rifles, which I don't like to see. They don't have utility, but I'd say, you know, even SMGs without utility might make sense just because they want to try to make some money. Every single loss they take on this round is going to count for so much now because these are all rifles, and they don't get much kill reward.
They've already lost the body. Speaking of which, they're starting to stack up. 3 corpses piled in Mini, and only Lucky left over. If there's anything else working into the favor of Bravado, I think it's that, first of all, Sonic took his incredible online performance, and he transitioned it into that opening game here today on LAN. And around him, we also had stellar performances from Fady and JT. And normally we're looking at Sonic as like this top-heavy carry, right, for the team. If he has his teammates behind him and everyone's performing well, I think that's just another kind of notch in the belt in terms of predicting their win. But we are far from it. We've moved through the technicality of an eco, and now we've got ourselves some guns. And guns galore. And XM1014 hits the floor.
First player to get tagged up is JT, but it's a kill to come out for Bravado, and they've made their way upstairs. 3 players, however, here to stop them.
Got a lot of bodies. Body swapping into the AK, cannot find a second, but it's Fady, who had an incredible A defense on Dust 2, entering into the A site here on Nuke. The last 2 remaining G2 players here towards outdoors, and it's Kenny S and Jax to combine for a couple of kills. This puts us into the even ground.
Oh, late smoke. This is going to be pretty tough for G2 to try to overcome at this point. They're going to have to try to lurk out if possible, or activate through the smoke if the upstairs players died. At least one of them dies to Jack. But I don't know if they've got the ability to do this. It looks like he's going to peer in over heaven.
Smoke fades for Kenny. Already having picked up 1 kill, Sonic pinned in behind the box, but Elusive comes out from the corner, and he's in the open as he gets himself the last kill, both of which are his here in the afterplant. That's a 3-0 start for the South Africans.
That was a really difficult afterplant where I think the player peeking from heaven knew he had someone trapped into his spot, but it was a headshot angle. He had to hit it perfectly. He had an equal chance of dying, and you know, the fact that Fady is able to get these 2 kills clean is the only way that Bravado seal it up for sure in the 2v2. But even then, they still managed to look strong. So they put G2 back on the pistols, and again, on CT side, it can all come down on you like an avalanche when you start to lose grip of the economy. So we see that be a problem now for G2, who's Bravado, have decided to play their anti-ecos with rifles, so they're comfortable in this position. I'd like to see how many nades they use on this round, because they specifically decided to allot their economy towards better guns as opposed to utility in the first place. So I wonder if that means they were intending just to not throw as many nades, which I actually like on anti-ecos.
Seems we've swayed the live GG bet odds here, just slightly in the hands of Bravado. So obviously this strong start starting to bolster belief. But they're down a man here in round 4. They've still lost Detrony. Now it's Kenny with an execution to the back of Fady. Kenny slightly tagged on his escape down ladder. Sonic can't quite catch him. Frag grenade should soften him up, but he actually flies back forward. This is a tough situation for Bravado. Elusive's gonna have to try to trade, but there's so many bodies for him to stack up. He's just gonna plume himself in the smoke, the ninja attempt. But then he comes out from it quietly. Now he's surrounded from all directions, and so no bonus money's found.
That's tough. He had a small option, or he had one chance to get that flare coming out of heaven. Then he could have come back around the smoke, and knowing that Kenny S was there on upstairs and tried to shut him down coming out of hut, and then could have made it a 1v1 if possible. And that was very realistic if he got that first kill, but without it, he was in a tough spot, front side of sight with Kenny S as a threat, and then the mini guy that he didn't know about to be able to peek him freely. Now that puts Bravado on a save. It's totally, and because they didn't collect all that money from SMGs in the second round, they don't have enough money to buy properly here, but they buy regardless, having had to deal with now just armor and pistols.
And they're running into Shocks, however. Not the player you want to meet on the other end of that barrel. He catches the head of Fady first, closes the door behind as he escapes into the corner, but this will give cover to the T's. They could just prioritize the plant, which they will. And now the question is, where are they all off to? A frag grenade deep's going to soften up Sonic, but the big question is Detrony. He's above, and he's just caught lucky first and foremost. Another pistol kill, and this could be Bravado robbing one right back from G2.
Wow, they don't know about this flank though.
So many pieces that could still just come toppling down upon them. Bot is going to strike from behind. Now these last 2 T's stranded in the open on low HP. Last one's towards ramp, and that's it. Body, no kit, but he still has the defuse. A very important second round here for the French.
That was a big move by him, and it was, I think, a teammate inside of Heisenberg that could have just watched his flank. He could have just waited a little longer and made sure that they found the second player before they all focused their attention on the one at ramp that they knew about. That was Detrony. Maybe could have been more patient in his position, put Sonic in a tough spot with such low HP, and then Body comes out with 3 to close the whole round out. So what could have been an eco stolen back is a round for G2 and another bout of pistols for Bravado as they collect a small paycheck from the bomb plant, but again, have very low chance of actually winning this round.
Yet there are still many rounds that lie ahead. Just got to get back into those guns, give themselves the favorable chance. It's not going to be any easy feat. We talked about the individual level that G2 can access, and obviously the newcomers of this team brought in for that reason. Lucky and Jax hit hard.
We can see where the T side is good for Bravado. Seeing some great stuff already. Economically, maybe some strange decisions thrown in there, but I'm liking the playbook quite a lot. I would love to see a round like we saw in the pistol happen again on either a force up or a full buy, where they go for an aggressive split to draw attention outside and then crush ramp, which is a strategy a lot of teams do, but they do it without actually wrapping outside. They instead will throw their nades outside and then just go 5 ramp, and then from there, maybe go lower. But the problem when teams do that is they don't get a kill from it, and then they end up using a lot of their smokes. So by the time they get down ramp and go downstairs, they don't have anything to cover a plant. They can't cover control room, and that's all CT area. If you don't come down from secret and you actually come from ramp, you don't have anything to cover you.
Looks like it's going to be the door burst. Those are deep frag grenades to try and soften up Mini, but there's nobody there. In fact, the outer control comes from Shocks, close up with that MP9. Fady on the other side as the entry does go the way of Bravado, but now Shocks is going to wrap around the box and the smoke. This could so easily hit the backside of Fady, but he's aware. good presence of mind to get this 5v3, but now can they continue forward with little losses?
Yeah, they seem to be speeding it up just in time. Fady recognized that his job was to get into Mini as fast as possible, threw a flash for himself, aided a bit, but now they can go for the split.
Kenny's attention called back towards outside. He's the one up in the heavens. It's Lucky within the bomb site that finds himself just one kill. It's traded, and Kenny's feet lit aflame. He quickly decides to head elsewhere. He'll go towards Mini. Jack's on the flank. And this op could easily skewer at least one of the players still up. Bravado's grenades are minimal, but that last smoke goes out. And there you have it. He does patch elusive, at least. But now he's backing off. This round is done. Bravado find that A site.
Take the kill and leave. But again, another really good split. I mean, this is like tier 1 fast split Counter-Strike. They're doing a great job on the spacing. They're all recognizing what their job description is when they're in the split. You know, the fact that Fady is like not playing selfishly outside and realizing it's his job to get in a Mini as fast as possible so we can get set up means that they're all on the same page about how little time they can waste. So it's clear that they've really thoroughly practiced for Nuke specifically. I'm liking this a lot. And again, I think you know, G2's way into this game was winning an eco and winning one rifle round, but overall Bravado looks solid. The round again, we watch it back. Detrony somehow manages that second kill through the smoke, but he makes it 3 just to let us know that that wasn't lucky. Ooh, body gets stabbed in the back.
Yikes. Not the best of starts, but we'll see if it comes back to bite him. Lucky the first to fall.
That was from that was just through the corner of hut from inside of the lobby.
Someone catch the replay. Gunner, cue it up. I want to see what he saw. Fady looking for another body, falling back into cover. Jax just waits for something outside, but they're already so close to this A site. They're now just going to start to announce their presence. They're getting a little louder, and Body's trying to work around the silos, but he finds nothing for his efforts other than a bullet between the eyes. Plant for Mini secured, and I would argue this is a 5th round too.
I'm loving it. This is great. They're keeping the tempo really high. I like it. They're not just going 5 anywhere. They're performing splits, which usually take more time. They're doing it with confidence, right? With making sure that every move is deliberate, and again, now lighting up the server in terms of frags as well. So Bravado look like they're firing on all cylinders at the moment. Very impressed with their brand of Counter-Strike right now. Time ticks down. Jax will look for a consolation kill and can't even find that. So from the big garage, 2 big choke points, 5 opponents, all looking for a head, and he can't get any damage in. Goes down immediately, leaving Kenny S in the back lines. A fast peek will come out, and Kenny S isn't quick enough this time to capitalize. Bravado looking sharp. Yeah, there it is. Had that lined up perfectly. It takes a lot of bullets.
It's like 20 rounds deep.
One of those headshots probably only does 40 damage, so he had to do a ton of hits to be able to lock that up. But again, deliberate, I think, is the important part. Knew exactly what he wanted to do, and then they knew how to follow up with the 1-2 punch upstairs. Frustration in the eyes and hands of Shox. You can see him trying to mansplain something to his teammates.
It's not his fault he's French. I do it too. We're all suckers. But Launders, to bring back the article written by Lucas, again, that HLTV piece on Bravado. If you guys have a second, you know, next tag pause, open it up, read it down, because the reason they say that you can just completely forget about anything outside of the last 10 months is because that's the time that now this team has been in North America and have been playing in their mind this kind of structured proper CS. This structure in the layers of their splits that we're seeing is exactly what I think they're talking about. That's something that's only developed as of late, but it is still shut down towards ramp. Jax lines up 2 bodies, and then Kenny S is there as that second line of defense, so just picking them apart, leaving it to the 2v4. Expect Bravado to slow things down, and still Shox surprises them from the floor of the B bomb site. Excellent individual plays here from G2. They get up in their faces, and they shut it down quick.
Yeah, it was a great way to steal the momentum back. I would have liked to see Bravado, instead of, again, doing a rush, they keep the tempo high, but on their successful rounds, they go for splits, running through smoke. Well, I guess, you know, the smoke may be plumed behind them, so there was a bit of urgency, but they weren't actually shrouded in it. They could see. So there was just a matter of making sure they could trade, and they got shut down by a fantastic mechanical show there at ramp, but I think in general, it's nice when they take at least 15, 20 seconds, work on another choke point, and then meet up together, kind of coalesce on a site.
Yeah, after seeing an aggressive round like that with an outcome favorably for G2, I'd expect it's a little while before Bravado throws something that wild yet again, but we shall see. They've lost a couple bodies now in this attempt to split the A site. Shox comes in from behind, and most importantly, he drops bomb. Sonic blown to smithereens, and Elusive looks to slink away from this, but he catches the first duel versus Kenny, and he loses no health.
Oh, he doesn't know that the other one was actually Heaven, so he's got inventory on one, but Jax re-peeks and catches him completely off guard. Shot in the side of the head, round closed out. G2 doing much better versus these fast plays, and this was one of those splits to Mini where they got the amount of map control they wanted to. They had 3 players wrapping, but the hold was strong. I mean, individually, G2 showed up, and that is something that you can always count on with players like the ones on G2, and it's Bravado here to try to recoup their losses, pick up some some powerful pistols at the very minimum, go for something similar.
Wild outer rush. Lucky's gonna clean up 2 easy kills. Sonic, sure enough, will drop him, and Kenny's just overwhelmed. So many T's peeking at him. Luckily, Jax should be here to pick up these pieces. 3 remaining T's all trickling past. He's down to just 13 rounds, and so interesting position. JT gets his paws on an op. What's he gonna do with that?
Oh, damage dealt, but more importantly, Shock spotted. 1 of 2 players left over. You know, sometimes in the 2v2, since you can't cover everything, these aren't the rounds you talk about that much. There's gonna be blind spots for the CTs. There will be points of contact and timings that could catch them completely off guard, and they will throw a little bit of caution to the wind, having Body go for a big flank here. And as we can see, someone's going back to check on ramp, but Body's got the off angle. Has made enough ground to make it weird. Elusive finds an opportunity because Body left upstairs. Shox was there, and that ends up just being a kill for Bravado.
And he knows exactly where the last one was at. Puts down the molly. As he comes flying upwards, the duel's not his to take. The ball's on Body.
Oh my God, Body's just like stressed out right now, I guess. Took a second there. Oh, I see, just want to reclaim the op. I was wondering, he looked very frustrated.
Man, he flies out through those flames. And you'd think that the player beneath has a decent advantage in that gun duel. It's a good angle.
Yeah, a solid angle. It's a pretty 50-50 fight, I think. You throw that up a few times, it goes either way. It's hard to predict for sure.
I mean, that 1v1 is crushing. Obviously, you want the round in the end, but you think about what Bravado came into that with, it was just pistols.
It's just pistols. They made it very competitive. It was a nice play. I like the 1v2 from Elusive. You could see where his mind was at, like how he was trying to figure out how they would play the 2v1. I was surprised to see that G2 replaced Body with Shox in upper, but that could have also been a good play.
Back to the guns for Bravado. Remember, the last 2 times they had gun rounds, it was very quick executions.
Oh, I think that registered late. Shox took a lot of spam damage from that same spam into Mini. It's going to make his rotation weird. It's kind of like the player on Dust 2 has to cross to B. Fady's made his way into lower, and they've already activated this split. Jax is going to get caught off guard, gets 1 at the very minimum.
And Fady then catches Shox down below. Like you said, a liability with such low health. He's susceptible in his rotation, and it's in his rotation through vents that he's found. Could be Bravado tying this up with 6 rounds apiece, but they still need to get this one through and through.
Yeah, so now that they have their hooks in on lower, they can watch the vents, and they've got all of the powerful CT spots to defend this bomb from, leaving ramp open, but that's the only thing that's open, which is more of a funnel than a liability. It's exactly where you want them to go, and it's tough for the CTs to make anything of it, so even with 3 up, they're not going to attempt the retake whatsoever.
Nope.
They're going to wait till next round and try again.
It's an au revoir and a big wave goodbye. G2 gone. I mean, they were gone before the plant even comes in. They knew what was happening. They knew what they had lost, that presence towards the B site. Enough to win the round. So 4 up for Bravado is a good spot as well for them to start recuperating from some losses.
Bomb will blow up, and Bravado out of another nice round in their name. Very well done. Like to again see what they have in store, and you know, even for the viewers here, they're making Nuke very exciting. I mean, they're not over convoluting their strats, they're not relying on some crazy lurk downstairs that takes 40 seconds and then team rushes upper when he dies type of strats. They're going with deliberate splits, always going to the site they first choose, and they're executing in 30, 40 seconds almost every time. And then they're using outside, ramp, and upper in different ways to keep the variety up.
I think it's a good way to contrast it versus Complexity's T-side from the Nuke just before this. Remember, they were down into like the 20-second late executes, which is something else you can do on Nuke. But this is a whole other flavor of Counter-Strike, and
Tastes good.
it tastes so damn good. Sick T-side thus far, but it's not over yet. Got the auto shotty back on the A site. Body looks to pound away with the buckshot. Kenny S, back where they buy guns. Misses his first shot. But he
Okay,
clips the
hit
head
that
of
one.
Fady.
What the heck? That was a banger.
How do you get someone out of this position?
How do you get someone out of
The CT
back
spawn.
in CT spawn? You throw a smoke and run by him.
Such a hobbit hole. But such a cheesy thing
It's
to
so,
do.
it's
Hiding
such an
behind a
annoying,
forklift.
You're the, yeah, you know.
Solid anchor here.
Oh.
And in a 5v3, you can play that kind of situation.
Yeah, and they've got a guy on patrol with a noob tube upstairs. His prey waiting for him below. Kenny goes down outside, and that leaves heaven open. So that makes this top of hut position a lot less viable. I wouldn't be surprised if Body tries to fall on top of a play. He can't hit that shot. He's got to try to reclaim another choke point. Watch him drop.
Drops right into Sonic, kicks in his teeth, drops into the AK-47, and from there does what? Hides behind the box, where he's found by Detrony, but Detrony, there's a player right next to you, and it's Jax who gets the best of him. Elusive, 10 seconds left, needs to try and get this plant, but he predicts the peak, and he just can't win his duel. So it's a 7th for the Frenchman.
It comes close. They almost make the best of it, and the round only slows down because they don't get the opening kill, but they go through the appropriate course of action to make sure they deal with Kenny S first. They get that kill with the rifle, no less. So it must have been a labored frag, but once they do that, know how to split upstairs. Again, put Body in that awkward position where he's got to pick a choke point. But when he does, he drops into hut and then hits the shotgun shot, and it's a powerful weapon up close. What can you say? Even though it's pretty cheap, relatively speaking, it works well.
Shock's going to change up his position in terms of this push. Last time he was towards control, but he has been found out. He's allowed 2 players to cross. There's still a double setup looking to trade frag, and he hits the first one's head. Fady caught with a Molotov, loses his teammate over the shoulder, and Jack's now just out into the open with a teammate next behind him.
Ooh.
That's Kenny's op ready to rock and roll. And everybody just pumps the brakes. Hold on and wait. Minute 14 still to play.
Oh, tough spot. Could be a free kill here if he keeps his eyes on Hut. Don't know if that's going to happen to assist the bomb, and yeah, Body gets killed. With Heaven Molly, they've got less choke points to worry about. 3 CTs, all rotating in from the same spot. Fady could have been offered up a couple. In fact, his teammate could have picked up the slack.
Oh, and Kenny then up close. Seals the deal. That's a 3 versus 3 situation, swept cleanly underneath the rug, and that's going to allow G2 to further their lead. I liked what we did see there because we talked about how there was no lack, or there was a lack of hesitation from Bravado. They always hit the bomb site they first applied pressure to.
Yeah.
This round, I think, was one of the first where that's not the case. We had players down secret stairs, very much so kind of seen off of the wall of smokes. G2 knows what's coming, but then they did rotate back up towards the A site. 3v3 after plant looks good.
The after plan was good. The spots were fine. They just didn't hit their shots. You know, instant dinked. They had the AKs too. They were close enough that the inaccuracy probably wasn't a problem. They just needed to have better crosshair placement, better reactions, and just hit their shots basically. There was lineups there. They knew that they were rotating in from lobby. They had the jump on them, getting inside a hut, ready and squeaky, and couldn't kill them. So sometimes that's what's going to happen. That's happened more than once against them in this half, and G2 actually have a small lead to show for it. So Bravado, I saw them smiling after a round loss, in one of the rounds they lost because it was maybe an eco at like 6-6 when it didn't matter so much. But now the scoreline's getting kind of real. G2 are looking at a very solid half overall.
One more round to go here from the offense of Bravado, and they find themselves at a disadvantage relatively early on. The hurt is furthered, but still situation contained because Fady finds a frag outside. Off angle, still punished.
Okay.
Lucky gets popped. But it falls onto Elusive and Sonic now. They're going to just irk their way out through Squeaky's door, Body finding the one in the back, but the front runner's still up and ready to go. Elusive has an element of surprise, but still he dies. It's Body with the final nail in the coffin here on this CT half. Like you said, a solid performance from G2 in the end. 9-6 is their lead.
Yeah, they grinded throughout. I think the most important part for them was just when they were able to stop the fast executions, when they were able to even deny Bravado's really well-timed splits upstairs. And it came down to individual and Shocks in upper, or when he's in lower, being able to get 2 kills by himself. They stopped the ramp rush once. I think that was the turning point where G2 started to get rounds back in their favor. Overall, Bravado has a pretty good half to show for it. I think confidence-wise, they got away with a lot of their game plan, which I think makes it so that you're less frustrated about how the other rounds went. You know, that's when you're going to be the most impressed with yourself. It's like, yeah, we lost some rounds, but we actually played really well, and we did what we wanted to strategically, and I think that's going to be nice for them. They still got a mountain to climb to be able to come back into this game, especially depending on how the pistol goes, but overall, we can see they are ready to play Nuke and have made it very exciting, I think, for the fans as well.
Yeah, and I think something that's nice to see is that with this kind of level of preparation and competence we're seeing from Bravado, that's going to translate really well to the CT side. Because, again, they have had this core lineup for quite some time now in comparison to G2. So what are the depths of G2's playbook on a map like Nuke? They're no longer playing in response to their opponents. They need to make this their own, but it's just a quick clash straight out through Sneaky Door. 5 players charge forward. That's as simple as it gets. Kenny's going to pick up a third.
I think he gushed everybody. I think everybody has been gushed by Kenny so far.
Oh, damn.
That's tough. Sometimes people fly out Squeaky and gush you. That's the name of the game.
Kenny S. Can the CTs hold on to anything here?
Wow. That's
that
all,
an ace?
That's all 5 in the books.
Pistol round ace. And this is where, you know, I think this is just a clean argument to the individual level that we know G2 have.
Yeah.
If you're trying to compare and contrast G2 and Bravado, just look at the tenure, the experience, and the accomplishments of these G2 players. You know, the desk mentioned the fact that they're ranked 28th on HLTV.
I want to know how much damage he did that round. I think he did almost 500 damage. He got a kind of an assist there with Lucky, but he actually did gush the guy in heaven as well. So literally came out, gushed 3 people upstairs and got an ace.
Oodles of damage, Launders.
Pretty fantastic stuff. And again, Kenny S's form has not been good. He got 29 kills last map. That's the best that we've seen from him in a while. And we all expected a honeymoon period to come on G2. I'm not unhappy that it's happened. It's a good first step. It's better than not having a honeymoon period. So hopefully we get Kenny back.
Successful marriage should always start with a great honeymoon period, right? You know, that's when it's at its best.
Where do you go on your honeymoon?
I'm thinking Cabo.
Is that like Cobble?
Yeah, Cobble's good.
That's where Kenny's going.
He's got the Dragon Lore firing up. Not many ops in this round. 4 pistols have hit the floor already. Making money. Shock stacking it up with that MAC-10. Do you often play MAC-10s on the top of Silo? Because Shox does.
Yeah, top of Silos. I actually recently lost Global, so maybe top of the Silo MAC-10s are not for me just yet. But I love the MAC-10. It's so cheap. You can jump, fly around, run super fast. You look cool. Reminds me of GTA.
Fair enough. With the pace of which you move. Hitting quick shots with the drive-bys.
Yeah.
Little
Get to the train, CJ.
That's the all-time best Grand Theft Auto mission. Hot damn. G2 looking good now. That first half of Bravado is not quite hot on our minds any longer, but this is what we were waiting for. The gun rounds of the second half. This is Bravado's chance back into the game. It is only a 5-point lead at the moment.
In the meantime.
A lot of those bullet hoses held onto here for G2, so...
Yeah, okay, what do they do here? Are they going to refresh the smoke and then bust upstairs again? Totally viable, but they know they've attracted attention upstairs. Oh, there it is, 2-tiered execute. Molly goes down on top of Hut. Oh, but they get downstairs. Lots of them get downstairs. And they get the first 2 kills. Jax with the MAC-10.
Smack 10. Just blows open that A site as everybody else funnels down into B. Detrony, the last man with any HP for the CTs, and I take that back. He sits now on 5. 16 health combined. 14. Quick maths.
Ski pop pop.
And from here, you know that the retake's not on. I mean, you have such little health. You have what could very well be fully HP'd opponents ahead, and a bomb plant on top of it with no kit, no thanks. Bravado just gonna lurk back into the depths of which they came. The spawn save as G2 double up their score.
Gonna need a Jax cam one more time, if you wouldn't mind. Like to see that Mac 10 spray transfer upstairs. And he was kind of late to go down the vent. I'm not sure if it was his job to stay up there and take as many fights as he could. But it seemed like once he spotted one, he just took cover behind the hut. And there it is. One pop. Instant shot into the brain of JT.
Did JT not have head armor?
He didn't have head armor.
That was a 1-bullet Mac 10 kill. So unless he was tagged up
they
earlier,
they weren't rifled up, were they?
Yeah, they were.
Oh, they were.
That was a buy.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe they knew that because they had spent so much money, they were gonna sacrifice head armor. So a lot of times you could buy a Mac 10. It's super good if you know that the other team is not going to have a lot of money to buy. You know, that third round engagement. That's tough.
Now reality starts to sink in. You got that gun round as your chance. That's what we were waiting for, and it doesn't go your way. So you're playing off the back foot now if you're Bravado.
Yeah. Again, folks, free route to semis if you win this match. Actually deciding, yeah.
You get a day off tomorrow.
Day off.
Nobody going home, but somebody soaring forward. It's either the new roster of G2 on their first LAN performance. Obviously, Bravado already with an upset over Optic today.
Whoa, that can't do much damage. It's got to be scary to know your opponents know that wallbang, though.
I'm impressed. Bravado had wallbangs on both sides of Hut now.
It's true. It's true.
Well versed in the game of Nuke.
So, what's going to happen here? Everybody looking at each other's screens. They were built for LAN. Good counter smoke. Oh, Fady saw an opportunity, but couldn't get that player blind. And what will the trade come out? He can now get tricky with it outside the red container, and Lucky's going to take his time now, and that looks like the opportunity to trade that out has closed. It's going to be a brand new engagement.
Fady still lingering around here. Oh, nice dink. Lucky thinks that he should just fall back. Don't blame him. G2 all the while are just going to pop their way into the ramp. Elusive lurks back down into the depths of the B site. He knows these players are going to come charging forward, but what can he handle with an MP9? Going to start peppering down Jax first. Kenny then clears beneath his feet, and Lucky cannot find that kill with the flank, so Shock's all alone. 1 versus 4, and it looks like Bravado, having opened the door and stopped the plant,
he knows.
May have stopped Shock, but he still could do this. No. Detrony finds him in the end. A little bit of an extra cost. 2 players survive for Bravado.
Damn, I thought he was going to make that happen. That would have been a clip. He knew one was in control room, and then just guessed well that someone else was at ramp, so gets that 1 kill, and it's a highly difficult 1v1 for his opponent, who had just had the door slammed in his face. So Bravado get 1, and they are still left quite poor after that round, so it's not going to be a total victory.
Whoops.
Yeah, Molotov doesn't go as deep as it like. I don't think anyone can get into the corner, but he's now still got to clear it out. MP9 quite powerful at ramp. We saw Shocks play there in a similar spot.
It's a dangerous game, Elusive. But the further back that he falls into this ramp room, the less important or likely that MP9 is to get a kill.
And one of the times that your reaction time comes into play in this game the most is when you're having a smoke engagement where the smoke is dissipating and people are looking at the radar. And then it's just like whoever is the fastest at clicking, you know, so, and that's something that Shocks is really good at.
Clicking heads. It's like Detrony will attempt. Oh, he lines up 2 bodies.
Oh my God.
4 frags, a crescendo of kills immediately here for Bravado. G2, they had that footing. They were everywhere, it seemed. And from everywhere to nowhere.
Oh, damn. Nice round. Nice round from Detrony. That was well done. That was a tough spray. Could have just, done 80, 90 damage to both players and then gotten killed. And then, we talk about how close he was. But instead, he gets the 2 cleanly, barely takes any damage, makes it a 3rd with a nice 1 tap at the end to the top of Silo to close out the round. And that's all she wrote. You saved a lot of deaths that round. Makes up for the ground they lost last round, economically speaking. Now G2 have decided to call attack pause because that is a round that could leave you very confused. We just got destroyed.
What happened?
What happened?
Outdoor shut down, mostly by Detrony. The last remaining player of the Bravado that we saw here at the infamous Winter Major. So he's returned. He's looking to make his mark.
When you say Winter Major, are you talking about the first major?
I'm talking about the one where there was still major invites. Boostgate. The Olaf boost. That major.
That was Cluj, right?
No.
Oh, no. That was, wow, I should remember this.
Winter 2014? I don't know, Launders. I was but a simple viewer in those times. They have come and gone. Just like the advantage of G2, because they find themselves back in those pistols. And while they still hold on to a lead, for how much longer is the question?
We'll see. Pistols aplenty. Shox wants to stay mobile with the AK. 2 kills could win a round. We've seen 3 people save more often than not if the entries come quickly enough.
It was Winter 2014 for the
Winter 2014.
Oh boy. Pile them up. Elusive just going to make quick work of this peek and pry in from G2. The rest of them still just sat back and waiting. Bravado want to get through this one with the least amount of economic losses possible. Start cultivating cash, milk the money.
Kenny still got power with this rifle. In the back lines, Jax doesn't take out the first shot, and now the rifle is last left alive. USB comes out to clean it up, and it's not enough, but they've still got 4 left over when all is said and done. Bravado, not a bad round to their name. It was an eco that G2 tried their hardest to get anything they possibly could out of, and could only find a single kill. So, solid hold here from Elusive and Co. Now we're back to rifles. What will G2 decide to do? The last time we saw them on the rifle round, they got dominated outside trying to cross Big Garage. I'm sure if they try it again, they'll just be more aware of that corner. But you'd also assume that Bravado wouldn't play a similar setup. Instead, as we can see, they're going to... Oh no, they have moved Fady all the way back here. And it doesn't seem like that was his first choice. He's moved now that he's low on HP and has already made presence in another spot outside. Body. He could spot this, but he might not be able to hit this shot. We'll see.
Oh, the smoke just masks the head of Detrony. Finding himself on the op, not Sonic. He's gonna fall back to the closer position. This is one of those great spots for an opper. You can fire, fall back, and you have 3 or 4 corners. He's now on the 3rd. The next one's a longer sprint. You could jump inside of vents if you want to throw a bit of a Hail Mary, but he gets himself that first one. And he does find safety on the stairs.
That was really nice. He recognized that he could keep getting flashbacked, as you were saying, and then pushed off his angles and never be able to shoot, but instead just dodges it and holds his ground.
Fady should have heard the footsteps trying to give chase. All the while, his team picked up these frags. Clean sweep from Bravado. Double digits for both teams now.
Not going to lie, I thought that Bravado were going to slip and fall, and this game would be over, and G2 would run away with it because they have solid individual play and they already got enough rounds in the first half. But suddenly Bravado look a whole lot better. It seems like the communication, whatever they're telling each other as a way to adapt to what's happening, is making sense and is clicking with everybody, because now they're in performance and execution mode. Everything seems to be working out quite well. Could be a solid grenade, goes a little bit too far, does some damage, might be worthwhile. We'll find out if any kills come because of it.
Give up outdoors, no problem. Obviously, Bravado have such an advantage at this range. Detrony stacking them up, piling the corpses like a plague doctor. but knows that there could be a man inside of the big garage, so he's going to kind of float back, take up a different position. Not going to find his ace. Would have been the second of the map, thanks to Kenny S's pistol 5K, but what are you made of, Jax? Not much, other than bullet holes. Fady with the final frag, now only one round the difference.
Only one, and you'd certainly assume that Bravado are not done in this game. You bet your ass they're going to win more rounds than that. And it's on G2. How do they change it up? T-side will, I mean, I was talking about how stressful CT side would be for them as a new team on Nuke, which is, communication-wise, you know, people speak in vague terms. Oh, it's one of those maps. This is the hardest map, I think, to play well on CT side in terms of communication. It's just, there's just so many weird adjustments. There's not rules that you can apply from other maps to how you would rotate off because there's the verticality. It introduces a whole new way of thinking about rotations, and that makes it so difficult. I would say Nuke is by far the most stressful on CT side. But here, even on T side, they have thrown a couple of good plays at them, quick plays that have worked out just like Bravado's, and now they have to be a little bit more innovative and come up with something new, because outside holds have been strong for Bravado. They look solid there.
It's Bravado blowing open the door on their own. Fady smoked off from his angle. And no Opera in sight for these CTs to try and peer through that entryway. But Detrony is positioned over towards spawn. He's really come into his own now, sitting at 22 and 13.
I love that Fady is insistent on trying to help out here, staying close to the smoke. And ooh, he's also got a kill. Not only that, he's got more.
Can't find his ace, body left up, and 2 CTs survive. That is tied at 12, folks, and no more pauses for G2. That last one they used coming into the round is all they had in their pockets. JT locking it down.
Yeah.
2 kills through smoke, 1 versus Lucky quick trade, and then a swift headshot through Jax will put him to rest.
That was nice, and he probably threw that counter smoke as well into Squeaky, so forced them to run through his smoke, got his 2 free kills, and then from there was just in overtime. That was awesome.
Very aggressive grenades usage from Bravado on this door. It's the second round they've blown it open. They're throwing Molotovs at it, spamming in through their own smokes. Like, they are not giving G2 this portion of the map at all.
Yeah, we saw complexity fall a little bit flat. It was just like quiet in a round because they were not using their utility way too sparsely. Fady outside one more time. Can he make a multi-kill out of it? No. Tries to get away to create another 50-50 duel, but instead, Lucky is quick enough to trade. Good on him for realizing that he needed to jump on that opportunity.
Yeah, and then jumps one further. Speaking about how quick he's gone, straight down Secret. 2 teammates behind him, and all of which coming at JT. Again, 1-for-1 engagement, but what's favorable for Bravado is the health advantage. Shox just hanging on by a thread of life.
Yeah, and now they're downstairs, and again, in all those favorable CT spots, but very low on utility. And that is the problem of when teams go outside. It's so costly because there's not as much cover, and you've got to create your own with your smokes. But now, what can they do? Elusive's in a strong spot. This is typically where people rotate into, and if you are safe or secure about ramp, or you hope it's not ramp, and you're just gonna, then you can sit here and then expect someone to jump out of control room and probably have a favorable engagement on that fight. And as for the T's, well, they can kind of try to guess he's here, but they don't have the advantage to try to kill him.
They can't quite catch that duel. Eventually, he is cleared. That's the opening for G2. Kenny's drop bomb. 15 seconds up, and just as quickly as Sonic comes down, he goes straight back up. A jack in the box that leaves Jax boxed in. 7 seconds left as he runs for the plant into the open, and he's managed to cross, but he's planting exposed, and he has no chance at it. The kills belong to Bravado, and so does this lead.
Beautifully done. No, getting out was very important. It made it so much harder to figure out what a safe plant was, and then having the ramp player come down after, it was a checkmate, basically, right? There was no chance for them to be able to pull that back, so awesome stuff here. Good on Sonic on recognizing with the time so low, he's got to try to trade out. Didn't even expect to see Jax off the bomb in that situation. Wanted to definitely deny the plant, but see, that was his priority. And now G2 are behind.
The utility that we've seen helps out Sonic picking up those 3 kills. JT with some assists and a frag of his own. A rapid round yet again for Bravado. G2, I mean, what is that other than just running into a wall?
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty much out of eco round ideas, it seems, and
no pauses to cool their jets.
Yeah, it's a good point. You know, it's good to see teams using pauses.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they don't. But to be out of pauses in a really important situation where the rounds are where it's so close and now you don't have a lead anymore, that's got to be kind of frustrating as well. And maybe they could have played out their ecos so they could talk more, but instead they don't. And that's another spam. They went ahead and called out that squeaky door opening and spammed him through a very thin vent. You know, that's probably highly effective.
Through the door, though, Jack's not able to get himself a second. The damage is costly. JT barely alive, but Detrony consistent in this position. Could pop another off the top of Silo.
And advantage. And yeah, I probably would have hung out a little bit longer if they needed him to. But at this point, he can go be annoying somewhere else.
Oh my, how do they find this entry? We've talked about this consistently. When you have that outer presence, sure, you're in control of a portion of the map, but you need to find an eventual entrance. It could be heaven in this instance.
Yeah, you know, leaving outside is common for the CTs, but to come to heaven afterwards is also quite common. Elusive, I feel like could have been much more aware of the fact that someone would try to lurk there, but because he tried to spot it initially, gave him a false sense of confidence, and that adjustment to take out JT. Detrony going down as well, and in the 2v3, G2 pull it back.
That's a big one. Finding the timing on Elusive. You could see him checking the door, flirting with ladder, not sure what was up.
He would have been better off in that, he didn't have to watch upstairs. He would have been better off in the corner of heaven, in the opposite corner, diagonal from where he was, watching over top of the ladder and to outside to make sure no one could come there.
True.
Have hell, right?
Because that
have
ladder
outside.
peak comes in. So what?
Exactly.
All right, pressure's on, tension mounting. And that lead now just one. G2 back in with guns. The difference being, of course, Bravado have some cash to fall back onto. Not going to be an easy finish if G2 look for another victory here. We've seen both these teams go the distance in their opening matchups. And this one could be no different. Fady decides to get aggressive through door, not something I think we've seen.
That's the thing. They haven't even taken many risks, so they're like, hey, we can throw this in. And fair enough, you know, they haven't just been running through Squeaky every single round, so this might have been an off round to do it, but getting punched like that is going to hurt.
Close shot. No cigar. Sonic.
Oh my god, what?
Blasted by Kenny S.
Was he even done peeking?
Detrony's now just trying to float around the blue box, but he's blinded, smoked, and in the crosshairs of Lucky. He's going to weather that first storm, and Elusive gives cover for another kill. It's back into an even ground. 3v3 and G2 sent reeling back from the push of which they made.
That's awesome that they held on to outside like that. Detrony holding his grounds, making sure not to flinch on the shoulder peek from Big Garage, and then having his teammate flash for him to clear outside, giving them so much space. 25 seconds left, and G2 have given up all the map control they worked for.
And this one's going to come back down to the wire. It's going to have to be a bolstered push. JT sees the guy in mini. There's smoke at his feet, and Elusive's dropped the bomb, but Elusive's now continued on with all three final frags. Bravado secure 15.
Excellently done, man. The composure is what I maybe the most impressive part of their CT side now. It was a tactical depth on the T side, but they're really looking like a winning team at the moment. This is awesome to see not only the strategical elements coming into play, but the hot individual plays as well. Elusive, I think, got away with a cool 1v2 earlier in the map to couple with that fantastic 3K. And now they are one away from getting match point. Calling a pause here. And I wonder if they even needed to, really. I guess they can talk about their CT side a little bit, but this is a moment where G2 don't have a pause. They might want to try to ice the kicker. They don't have that option, and now you're giving them room to breathe.
And a huge round as well. That's a 3 versus 5 to reset G2.
Right.
Because prior to it, we had 8 rounds in a row from Bravado. Not even a bomb plant, Launders.
Yeah.
And then finally G2 on the board. There's hopes. There's a chance. And it comes crashing down around them. Look at this buy.
Just throw your Molotovs and just deny any rushes, and then from there, the T's have barely any advantages. Only pistols, don't have options outside. Could try to do a late fast split, but that's about it.
The Galil, the only primary gun here for G2.
They actually, maybe they're not fully aware of how much money is left over for G2, but they'll be surprised to find that it's basically just pistols. They might have thought that, okay, they can afford a couple more rifles, if anything. but they held on to 4 Molotovs still.
I mean, I think that Molotovs in your back pocket could be so useful when you think about how G2 have thrown some of these very late executions. If there's mollies on the floor when they come charging forward, good night, goodbye. Bravado looking to top this group. The stacked of the 2 as well, Group B. What an accomplishment this would be from them, but it's not over yet. Despite a man advantage, there's still pressure onto Fady. He hears the player drop, and it's Body with a deagle to get a little bit done. Jax turned back round as he tries to exit Hut. Not caught on the cross, but he walks right into the hands of Elusive, and it's a 4v2 now. Kenny S is on the B site with the bomb on his back, but no teammate nearby and only 30 seconds left over. He's trying to scramble back up into A because Body has found an opening and an easy pick, you'd think. Oh, how has Elusive done it? Staying true to his name, he dodges the shots and stays alive. That's going to force Kenny back into the B site. The options getting so low. Yet finally, he'll fly back upwards right into Elusive. An immediate trade with 10 seconds left. And Body, in desperation, will try to get this plant. He'll have it. You'd think. There are CTs all over, and he's fumbled it now. Bravado, 2-0 Group B, and moves straight into playoffs.
Wow, it was close wins for both teams. They both did it on Dust 2 with the 16-14s, and you wondered what would happen in this match. You thought, okay, just the pedigree of G2 would mean that was enough to take it over the line, but Nuke maybe was the pick that saved the day for Bravado. Looked excellent on the T side, even though they only got 6 rounds. We talked about how they could still be happy about that and not frustrated, and they moved on to CT side, and we saw the hot individual plays that G2 showed them to come back into the first half to allow them to actually win the game.
Yeah, and this is huge. I mean, Bravado, a team that so many people would rightfully write off. In terms of LAN appearances, I'm not talking LAN performance, LAN appearances, we've seen nothing from this roster pretty much. So a huge accomplishment today. And I think there's some kind of Counter-Strike magic in the air here in Jönköping, because the last time we were here with DreamHack Summer, we had Imperial, the first EU qualified team to win a DreamHack Open. And Bravado are still long from that, but a 2-0 victory makes them a very serious contender in my mind.
It's great to have an extra day to prepare for stuff, and they definitely earned it today.
So props to them, and props to South African CS. This is the biggest LAN accomplishment in a long time. So hot damn, who would have predicted that? None of these goofs on the desk, that's who.
All right, nice one. Real nice one there. Real nice touch at the end, but I did like the party said about the magic. I think there's definitely something to be said there, because Bravado have done it. They punched their ticket on to the semifinals, and they're making their path even easier. And I think we're going to have a shortage of avocados at this rate.
It's a season of miracles, right? It is, you know, Christmas time after all.
Yeah, okay, well.
Just putting it out there, man.
It's not bad. It's not...
not a win yet.
Not as necessarily a great look here from G2. Unfortunately, they did falter here. They did catch an L, and I guess we kind of can give that a little bit of a pass given the roster situation that we have.
Nope.
Nothing?
Nope.
Okay, you know what? Take it away, Jacob.
I mean, it's not acceptable. I'm not going to, again, take anything away from Bravado, but G2 is a team that should be, given the circumstances, given pretty much everything, they should be able to win against a team like Bravado, and they shouldn't be able to struggle, especially not when you're up 12-6. I mean, that game was in their hands already. They was in full control, and all of a sudden they just fell short. They had nothing to offer, and yeah, that's where like the lack of preparation comes in. That's where you can see that it's a new in-game leader. He's like running short of ideas. He doesn't really have the creativity, nor does he have the abilities or the set plays in order to do anything about that Bravado defense. But that said, G2 is so strong individually that they should individually be able to go up against Bravado and get the stuff done.
Yeah.
It's just simply not good enough.
I'm going to add one more thing to that, would be from Bravado's side of things, right? One thing I really enjoyed about their CD side especially was they weren't just playing passively, they were just like waiting in the sights. There was hyper-aggression coming in from a few displays all over the map. Detrony, just got to point out, the guy's 28 years old, he's a veteran in his team. He's the second time in the DreamHack Winter event after 4 years when he played in the major bottomed out. What a performance from him with the AWP on that CD side. Great work from him, Elusive as well. And just to, the point I brought up earlier, these guys have the firepower.
They do have that, and they're utilizing it correctly. And we're going to be utilizing this technology with our interview right now. We talked to him earlier. We're going to have the chance to talk to him again. Detrony, my man, you have punched a ticket onward to the semifinals. You and your team have certainly made it look good here for South Africa. What do you got to say for yourself, bud?
Feels good, man. Feels good. We won against Optic. Geez, I'm at a loss for words at the moment, but we won against Optic. The most important thing, I think, was just to, remain calm. We had a chat right after the game, and we said, it's just one game. It's an early group game. We just got to keep the focus, and if we really, really want to do well, we just need to stay composed and take it game for game, and here we are in the semi-finals.
A quick question from my end would be the Nuke pick, right? I mean, this is a map that you guys really, really like playing, especially when you're playing, back, I would say, home now in NA. But against EU teams, like Pim mentioned earlier in the desk as well, when you're talking about G2, they're a team who historically can have been able to play this map, right? So, were you guys? What was the the mindset going into that? I thought probably it might just go to a Dust 2 again.
I don't know. I think, to be honest, we're pretty comfortable on maybe 5, even 6 out of the 7 maps. The last 4 to 6 months, we've been really, really grinding out our map pool and trying to get work on all the maps as much as possible. We've had, mixed results. Obviously, it's all online. But yeah, I would think Nuke right now is one of our strongest maps.
It showed.
Down 12-6 against the likes of G2, against Ashox, against KNS. Was there anything in particular you guys changed up in your CT side of the game, mentally wise, or was it just a solid CT side we got to see from you guys?
I think in general our CT Nuke has been pretty solid. Even though we got 6 rounds, we lost the CT pistol. It ended up being 10-6, 11-6. We just said first buy, we just need to compose ourselves, just play our usual game. We don't need to overreact, overdo anything, just keep doing what we always do, and the rounds will come frag by frag, and yeah, we did it, man.
And one more quick thing would be, apart from yourself, you've been in the scene for a long time. You played at some, bigger events back in the day as well. If you look at the youngsters in a team, players like Sonic and Fady, these guys are pretty green. Let's be honest. What did you tell them? Because it's obviously a very different thing altogether, playing online in the comfort of your, boot camp or wherever, and then being on stage, playing against the likes of a KNS or a Shox. So what do you tell them? What do you tell these young guys when they're going to be, on a stage like this?
I kind of just speak about my past experiences, trying to get them into the right mindset. I think they're doing a really good job. I didn't expect them to handle the pressure and everything as well as they have, so I'm very surprised about that, but they're still young. I really think that Sonic, Fady, JT in particular, being as young as they are future upcoming stars, and with more LAN experience and team experience playing together, I think they're going to be really great players to look out for in the future.
I got one last question for you, buddy, and it's going to be along this tune. Everyone at home is spamming about some avocados. I'm just going to tell you straight up. What do you say to all the fans and friends at home right now?
I just want to say, a massive thank you. Obviously, we feel all the energy. It's helping us a lot. Our local community back in South Africa, this is huge, man. This is really, really big, and we're not satisfied. We just want to keep going, and we want to keep bringing on these results, and hopefully win the tournaments.
Yeah, and only time will tell. Go ahead and enjoy your day off tomorrow. We're going to let you get back to it,
Thanks,
buddy.
Guys.
Well, guys, closing thoughts here on, I guess, Bravado moving forward.
I'm super impressed by them. I mean, the way that he composed himself in an interview like this as well, it's just great to see that they're so composed and so calm and so collective, especially down 12-3 against a team like G2. I know we talk about them not having the right preparation to this event. I know we're talking about them having a new in-game leader, them having some changes, but overall, you just got to look at the facts in front of you. They're down 12-6 against one of the supposedly best teams in the world, at least they have the potential to be, and still they're managing to claim it back and be completely calm and collective in the process of doing so. So I just want to say big kudos to Bravado, and I think after the first best of one, I was a little bit, yeah, sure, it's the best of one. After now, I mean, we have some potential here. I want to see them go in and test that 5-6 map pool he's talking about, whether that actually stands or not, but that's going to be the next task, right?
That's very surprising, right? They're comfortable in 6 maps out of 7, and now going to the best of 3
series. It's a statement.
Sorry?
It's a statement.
It's a statement, right? So I'm really looking forward to this. They've surprised everyone, surprised, I think, all of us at the desk as well. A great job from them. And just to touch upon what he said, how composed it looked like, some of those rounds when it was looking a little rough, when you have new players, they tend to get a little carried away, right? But just the sheer composure and also the discipline that they showed, impressive stuff coming out there. Trace.
Well, yeah, you want to talk about composure. You want to talk about being cool, calm, and collected. In fact, we have 5 individuals loaded up, ready to go, because it's the top 5 plays of the day, and we're going to get to take a look at them right now. Number 5, Esports G2, Alexa B on Dust 2. And talk to me a little bit about this one, guys.
I mean, not a bad play from him, getting a lot of rifle kills right here. He had a decent showing on Dust too, but obviously it was a sad thing for them as they went on to lose the game. Him controlling the AK pretty fine here, though.
Number 4, Heroic versus Complexity is going to be Shazam from Complexity on Nuke with a 4K.
Yeah, he had a pretty good showing, right? Even the Complexity, you know, overall we're looking a little shaky here and there. He was a player who really stepped up on this particular map, not just with the AWP, but especially on T-side with like, frags like this here and there. So he has actually kind of, I feel, come into his own.
Bravado versus G2, Kenny S getting it done here on Nuke.
We got to see some of the old Kenny S, yeah, with the pistols, with the AVP, and actually just being a factor in a game. It's been a while since we've seen him play this well, and unfortunately it didn't turn out to a win for him today. He has another chance tomorrow, though, in a best-of-3 series against either Optic or Ints.
Well, you say Ints, and that's funny, because that's where we're going. It wasn't that easy for him today, but we got Alu on Dust 2 with a 1v3.
He was phenomenal, right? If you know it had gone the way of Ents, he would have been the MVP in my eyes. What a clutch from him. Fast scopes galore, and yeah, he's by far the best player in Ents right now.
You want to talk about galore and the frags keep on coming in. Fady on Dust 2 with a 4K here. This was nasty.
This was nasty, and this was very important as well. This was such a close game in general. I'm super, super impressed by not only these kills, but the way that they, again, you know, were composed and they were collective against a team like Optic. These guys are definitely, I'm not going to say stars for the future, but these guys are something we have to look out for coming up into the next open circuit next year.
Well, one thing you could begin to look out for at home is a big thank you to the sponsors who are making this all very much possible and all very much a reality right about now. Astro, Corsair, Monster Energy, and of course Hacks GG, the official apparel sponsor of DreamHack Open. That does it for day number 1. Day number 2 is sure to be a long one, but you don't want to miss any of it. 4 best-of-3s, and we're sending some teams home. We're sending some teams to the playoffs. And with that, we're going to be going on and closing out the broadcast for the day. Thanks for joining us at day 1 of DreamHack Open in Jönköping. See you tomorrow.